Are you up to your ears in student debt, stressing about how you're going to pay for next week, let alone your upcoming mission, college, wedding, or kids? And forget about buying a house in this economy. Today we're joined by my friend Bryt, who's going to share her story of getting out of debt and to give you some actionable tips to manage your money well and with confidence to move forward in your life. Welcome to Spackchats. I'm the Spack, and this is where we chat. All right, Bryt, I'm excited to share with you a new flavor. I haven't actually tried this one before.
Okay.
This was, what is it called?
Hawaiian?
Blue Hawaiian.
Okay. Should we try it together?
Yeah, we'll find out if it's good. That's really different.
That's way more Hawaiian than I was planning.
Yeah.
That's good.
I didn't even put the whole packet in. I was worried it might be a little bit strong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad about it either. I have to admit, I just had a Blue Hawaiian Monster in the car.
Really?
Not as Hawaiian as this.
Really?
This is more Hawaiian. This is good.
Does it, okay, but objectively, does it taste just better or not really?
Different.
Okay. I've never had a Blue Hawaiian Monster, so I can't compare it.
I think that's what it's called. Maybe it's Blue Hawaii. I don't know. But this is good. This is very tropical.
Yeah. I don't know if I would buy more of it, though. I think I like the colors that make me less stressed about spilling.
I've never actually tried just ingredients.
Really?
So,
okay, I have to turn you on to them. I think they're super delicious.
and probably healthier.
They are way better. Well, healthier than what?
A Monster?
Yes, they're healthier than a Monster. I think they're also better than most of the electrolytes out there. They're
Okay.
high in potassium.
Okay.
So you can have more of it without having too much sodium.
Oh, okay.
And for me, I have a potassium deficiency. And so it helps me to get hydrated.
Look at you.
Mm-hmm.
This is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially recommend if you're pregnant or nursing, too.
I'm done with that. Won't be doing that again.
Been there, done that. You have 4
5.
kids? 5 kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're fun,
Super
though.
mom.
Yeah.
I think you're so cool.
Well, I think you're cool. I'm glad.
Thanks.
I'm glad we were able to reconnect.
Yeah. By the way, we met each other in college.
Logan?
Well, yeah, I think I was still in college. We were in the student ward. The married
we were
student
in the
ward.
married student ward in Logan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
and then, but I think you guys moved in right as we were moving out, kind of. It was a brief. Because we moved it 2019,
you left in 2019?
right
Okay.
before she was born.
Okay. We left in 2020. So
Okay.
we would have been there overlapped for a year.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And I know we especially had some mutual friends and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it
welcome
was
back.
good times.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, Bryt, as a financial coach,
Mhm.
what is the number one thing you think young people are struggling with financially today?
I think the number one thing that young people are struggling with is a lack of direction or a
Okay.
lack of purpose, intentionality. I think combined with social media and the pressure to keep up with other people, it leaves their plans and their intentionality behind. So I think a lot of the problems are stemming from not knowing what you're working towards, so why work so hard? I think that because if someone doesn't have a plan going into adulthood or being a young adult or having if they don't have goals and they're not aligned with themselves and God's will, then it's kind of easier to just spend all your money or I don't know.
Yeah, just kind of be aimless about it and
Yeah.
it's not working toward anything for you.
I think that's a lot of
Mhm.
people's biggest problem.
Sure. Okay. I think that's valid. I think that checks out. So tell us about your financial journey. I guess take us to what was your low point? Where
Oh.
yeah. If that's where you think the best place to start is.
Well, let me preface by saying we've been debt-free 90% of our marriage. As soon as we got married, my husband paid off my car, and then we just lived a debt-free life for years and years and years. Now, taking it up to 2024, we had been in our house for a short time. We do have a small mortgage, especially living in Utah, a very small mortgage. But we live in the middle of nowhere, and there's mud and dirt everywhere. And so we had someone knock on our door and ask us if we wanted some asphalt for our driveway. And I guess we got caught up in the moment. It was the same year that my husband was doing his master's, I was finishing my bachelor's, and we had our 5th child. And so the savings were pretty far depleted at that point, paying for all those things. And then we thought, how nice would it be to not have mud every time we get out of our car? And so we hired this guy. I don't even need to get into the details, but I'm pretty sure it was a scam. It was a scam. He did the very bare minimum. And then next thing we knew, we owed him $11,000. And so we found ourselves, because like I said, we had spent most of our money with all of our going back to school and having our 5th baby and all of that. And so end of 2024, we found ourselves $4,000 in debt, and like we had depleted everything. And so since then, I have become a financial coach. Actually, that same exact time I had become a financial coach, and I had to work through paying that debt off and then building my emergency fund back up. And now we're here where I finally have like the peace and freedom and clarity that I had before all of that.
Yeah. So how does it feel now to be financially stable, free?
I think really what it is there's just so much peace. There's not that overhanging, I owe somebody this. There's not that if I get money, then I owe it to somebody else. You know, when your paycheck comes in and then instantly you know, like, well, after all this, I'm going to have $300 left because I have the car payment and the whatever the payments are. I think it's a lot of peace and a lot of clarity, and that's how it feels now.
How does your financial situation impact your spiritual life?
I have a mentor, my neighbor. They are what I would call a millionaire next door. They are, in fact, next door to me and millionaires, but you would never guess it. Okay. They have a modest home. They wear modest clothes. They have nice cars now, but, we invited them over for dinner one day because I wanted to learn more about them and how they have gotten to this point and what was the most important thing for them. And they gave me this book and they drilled into me the concept of being generous. And I've always followed a plan. I follow Dave Ramsey's plan, and he talks about being generous. But having someone that I know personally and that I look up to very much, be able to really push and testify of the blessings that come with generosity was such a testament to me. And so for me to be able to go back, and now that I have more peace and freedom, I feel like I can give so much more generously, and I can feel the blessings and the peace that comes from that. And I think spiritually, it has been a game changer. I think for us, seeing how specifically like fast offerings, when we give very generous fast offerings, it gives us the blessing of loving those in our ward so much more personally. And I don't know where those fast offerings are going. I don't know who's getting them, but I know that someone in my ward is benefiting, and I have so much more love. I think it's almost like the gate has opened up because I am giving, that like all of that is coming back to me.
That's a really cool perspective. All right, let's talk to the girl who is just kind of clueless about budgeting, finances, feels like maybe nobody's really taught her how to do it, and she's later teen or new in college and just like, whoa, I'm a little in over my head. What is like the first 1 or 2 places that you would send her to learn everything she needs to know, at least to get started?
The first book that I read was The Millionaire Next Door, and that book showed me that money does not equal how people how am I saying this? How people perceive you does not equal the money that you have. I think as a kid, you think, or even a young adult, you think like, oh, they have a nice car, that means they have a lot of money. Oh, they have nice clothes, that means they have a lot of money. And while it doesn't matter what other people have, obviously that immediately reflects back to you. So if I have nice clothes, people think I have a lot of money. And if I have nice cars and whatever. So I think for them to find a book like The Total Money Makeover or Millionaire Next Door, or even The Richest Man in Babylon. Those are really good books to start. I think social media is a great tool, and also there's a lot of bad information.
Mhm.
And so to go on and see 15 different creators spouting 15 different things,
It's so true.
it's overwhelming, and a lot of it's inaccurate, or just I think the things that have stood the test of time, older books that have been published long ago that people are still reading,
Mhm.
is the right place to start.
Okay. So they're not outdated for modern money practices.
Well, I don't think so. No, I mean, if you read The Richest Man in Babylon, it's biblical times.
Mhm.
And so I think the concept of money, I mean, we could get into the logistics of, I mean, you and I were just talking to someone who said that it's 8 times harder today to buy a house or to do whatever. And
Mhm.
while those facts are absolutely true, the principles are the same.
Mhm.
The principles of living below your means, being generous, helping those around you. All of those are outward projections versus keeping it for me, buying things for me. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah. No, totally. I'm tracking. How do you feel about the church's self-reliance programs? Do you think those are great starting points, or would you supplement with the
No,
books?
I think those are great. I've taken the financial one twice.
What is it called? The personal
Personal
financial
finance.
personal finance.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
And then I've also taken the emotional
Oh yeah,
self-reliance. Is that what it's
yes.
called?
Something like
I
that.
would absolutely, that's actually, I take it back. That's a great starting point.
Okay.
Those are my favorite concept. If you haven't, have you taken it?
I've only done the Get a Better Job one.
Okay.
I've read at least one or two other manuals,
Okay.
but I haven't done
My favorite principle in the financial
the
personal
personal finance,
finance,
I
I
think.
think is what it's
Mhm.
called, is that everything on this earth is God's, even our money. It's a
Mhm.
blessing from God. And when you have that perspective that all of these things that are given to me are actually God's and I'm a steward over it. I mean, we
Mhm.
could talk about how you're a steward over your children. They're God's
Right.
children and you're a steward over them. And the money that you get is God's money and you're a steward over it. I think having that gives you a little bit of a boost and it puts you in this place where you're like, wow, God trusted me with this. I can take this and I can do God's work with it. And then it's easier. It's so much easier to give it away, to be
Mhm.
generous, to spend it on wholesome and goodly things versus me, my,
Mhm.
you know?
Yes.
So I love it. I love
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
course.
I 100% agree with you. It's been game changing for me to say, wow, this is a gift from God, and how am I going to use it?
And yeah, and
This is a
he's
challenge to my
trusted.
stewardship. Yeah.
Exactly. He's
Mhm.
trusted me. And how much I just always think of one of my strongest testimonies is like the gift of agency, that we were given that we can have agency in all of our choices. And what a cool challenge to live up to.
Yeah, I so agree. Okay, what is one thing you wish you had known about money before you turned 18?
I wish before I turned 18, I wish I had known how easy it is to hide debt.
Oh.
So I grew up, Mom, I hope you don't watch this. I grew up with a single mom and we had everything that we wanted. I mean, we didn't go on big vacations very often. We didn't always get brand new clothes, but we lived a very good life. Christmases were massive. Birthdays
Mhm.
were wonderful. We, like every year you'd get a new Xbox or I got a laptop or
Mhm.
whatever it was. And so when I grew up and got married, I thought my mom did all that on her one income and she would often tell us how much she would make. I remember the day she came home and said, "I'm making $30,000." And I'm like, $30,000?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Like I didn't realize how
Woo!
far that was or how it
Yeah.
wasn't, And for me, finding out later that my mom had debt was almost like a betrayal. Like
Hmm.
I've never even talked to her about this. I don't hold it against her. She was a single mom with 5 kids. What
Yeah.
else was she supposed to do?
Mhm.
But I think for me, it was such an eye opener of, oh, we can't just live on one income and have everything we want. We can't just, and I mean, I guess if your income was big enough, you could. But it was so easy for her, and not that she was hiding it from me. I was her child. It wasn't my business to know.
Sure.
But I think just the shock of knowing, wow, like you owe money for that still, or that wasn't ever really yours. I think for me, it was like a big eye opener to know that a lot of people have debt and things don't really belong to them. They're just borrowing it from the car dealership. They're paying, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I had understand debt just a
Mhm.
little bit more.
Yeah. I remember my own the moment I like it triggered to me. I guess, yeah, how much debt people were carrying. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, it's an illusion.
Mhm.
Everything's an illusion.
It is. And you don't know what to believe and you don't know what's what.
What advice do you have for YSAs, young single adults, to help set themselves up for financial success later?
If I could give just one piece of advice to a YSA or anyone in that stage of life, I would say live below your means. That's it. Just live below your,
Hmm.
just a little bit. Save a little bit of money.
What does that look like?
So to me, that means not spending everything. I know a lot of times people get caught up in, well, I have an extra $400. I got a bonus. And so I'm going to spend that whole $400. I'm going to go shopping. It was extra money in the first place. Well, that could have been a really good blessing for you to start your emergency fund or to pay off your debt that you've had. And so to live just a little bit less than what you make, start so small. Start saving $25 a paycheck. Have it automatically transferred.
Where do you think they should transfer that to? How should they save that money?
I guess it depends on how much they trust themselves or with experience what their track record looks like.
Okay.
I have both in my main bank account, I have a savings account, and I have a separate bank somewhere else that's my emergency fund that I don't see, that I don't touch. And even for me, it's nice to not have to see it because if I saw it every day, I'd probably be like, let's go buy a whatever.
Yeah, I've got $10,000 in emergency fund. I can go
I can
go out to eat today.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think it depends entirely on what they feel comfortable with and why not start more strict? Why not go open a bank somewhere else, have an automatic transfer set up every
Mhm.
time you get paid on the 10th and the 25th, move $50
Okay,
over.
imagine you're a total dummy. Never
Okay.
done it before. How do you set up that automatic transfer?
You go to the bank. So you'll have your initial bank account number.
Mhm.
So I'm say Mountain America.
Okay.
And then that's where my check is going. I have that account number. And then I go to, say, Zion's Bank and I say, I want to open an account. And they'll say, okay, you have to put a minimum of $25 in it. So you put $25 in it. And then you say, this is my bank account number that I want to pull from. And I want to pull every month on the 10th and the 25th. And I want to pull this amount. And they will print off a paper for you. And it's write it out. And then you're done. And they submit it and they do all the work.
Cool. Nice. All right. Once you're married,
Mhm.
how important is it to be on the same page?
This is my
financially?
favorite topic. 1,000% be on the same page. Be on combine your accounts. What's yours is yours, what's mine is mine. That includes income, that includes savings, that includes debt. We are now one. When we get married, we are one working unit.
Why does that matter?
I think because when it talks about in scriptures to become one, I think the main purpose in that is to be aligned with God. And if you can be aligned with a person towards God, then it's the whole two heads are better than one concept.
Mhm.
If there are both of you working on the same goals and trying to become more like God and praying together, there's two ways to get revelation. There's two ideas that can come into play. It just multiplies in every aspect. I think one of the benefits of being aligned on the same goal and becoming one is you're bringing in different traits from how you grew up, how he grew up, what pros and cons you have, pros and cons that he had. Not only is there more ideas, there's more flows of revelation to come into the family. There's also the ability to, I think, change. When you grow up, when I grew up, I thought I was going to be a singer. And my life was going to revolve around me, and I wasn't going to get married till I was 27. And when my husband was a kid, he grew up thinking something else. And so when we came together, that was such a beautiful opportunity to wipe the slate clean and become something new together. And so to realign your goals, I think is so important, not only when you're first married, but then the next year, and then the next year. What are we working towards? What does God want us to do now? And I think more than anything, it is just the multiple streams of revelation, how they can come in through different avenues when there's more people involved.
Mhm.
People, not everyone should be involved. You and your husband.
Sure. Sure. No, I think that's so true. And I, I think money's it can be a great way that you're unified, or it can be a great way to, I guess, accentuate any areas where you're not together. I know that marriage issues are a lot of the time they come from financial arguments or disagreements.
Absolutely. I think it's important to remember that when I say all this, I'm a spender through and through. I would spend every last dime if I didn't have any morals or cares in the world. And my husband, he's like that weird person that'll like sit on $1 million and nobody will know it because he doesn't.
That's so my husband.
And so it's not to say that it's easy, and it's not to say that it'll come naturally. It's those things that make it so much more beneficial. It's the differences that once you can work through and come to a middle ground, how much more beautiful that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not to say that it's easy because it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's totally worth it.
And I think that's the biggest point is that when you come to, because, okay, we can't just go into this and say, I want our life to look like this. I want to save this much money and I want this and that and the other. And then expect your husband to be on board. It's only going to work when you're on the same page. So what do we both want? And how unifying is that to come up with what we both want? And hey, this is really important to him. This is really important to me. Maybe I can give here and he can give there. So not only are you having the opportunity to bend for each other, which is such a blessing to see your spouse give.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I was saving for a backyard fence and my husband was saving for a new car, well, then when we get 20 grand, who wins?
Yeah.
Versus if we're on the same page and we say, let's do half of our fence and let's, I don't know, get a cheaper car. I don't know how it would work. It's so much easier to work towards a goal when you're both working towards the same one.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. So, talking to the married couple or the young single adult, we believe that dating is important either to keep you and your spouse close together, or look for your spouse if you're still dating. What are your favorite cheap or free date ideas?
My favorite date ideas. So when we lived in Logan, we were so poor. And
Same though. We lived in some really cheap housing.
We did. There's no
in the
AC.
same complex.
Yes. Oh.
Uh-huh.
But what a beautiful time. I was just talking to my husband about this yesterday. What a beautiful time that was for us. I think we had more quality date nights playing Skip-Bo on the couch with some like gummy bears. Then when we go out now and we go to the bowling alley and have dinner, it's like rush, like, okay, get the kids dropped off at the babysitter. Let's go. Let's hurry and get this over with. And then it's almost more intentional when it's slowed down. And so I think anything like card games at home, getting a special ice cream on your way home from work and saying, hey, I've got the treat tonight. Or, I mean, even as silly as one time just a few months ago, I was craving chicken tenders with like the sweet buffalo. I don't know. I don't even know what they are. And what we did, we had already eaten dinner and we decided to make buffalo chicken tenders with sweet chili. I don't even remember.
You just made it?
Yeah, like we just got the chicken out, we made some batter, and we had restaurant style chicken tenders while the kids were in bed. So I think it's anything you could do at home. Just be a little bit creative, make it different.
That's so fun. Yeah, we definitely got creative too with our cheap.
What was your favorite?
I think I might have talked about it before. My favorite is memories. I miss this by Utah too. When we had Deseret Book nearby, and we would just go to Deseret Book for a couple hours, just sit on the armchairs and read books and look at the artwork because they have lots of pretty art. It's like a little mini art gallery. Yeah, that was like totally fun. Or just go for walks or a hike.
Duck ponds. I love duck ponds. Those, I don't think there's a single one in southern Utah where I live, but up north when I was up here, we could always find a duck pond.
Yeah,
those were fun.
For sure. What do you think are the most common financial mistakes that Latter-day Saints are making?
Not talking about it.
Really?
I think the biggest mistake that we're making as Latter-day Saints is not talking about money. I think some people...
Like in our families or in our wards or with friends or just
all of the above. All of the above. I think that money should not be a taboo subject because we all have it. We all need it. We all want it. And so I think sharing ideas of how we've saved it, I think sharing ideas of how we've made mistakes, I think sharing all of those openly could give so many more people so much more advantage. I mean, if you think about like, oh, back when I was a kid, your parents will say like, back when I was a kid, I did this and this was the bad thing that happened from it. And then you can
Yeah.
learn from their mistakes. Oh, I was on a date and I made this mistake and then I never got to go on a date with that person again. Whatever it is, they share those with you and you can learn from, hey, I'm never going to do that again or, do what my mom did. How big of a blessing would that be if we could talk to our friends and our neighbors and I told you about my mentors that live next
Yeah.
door, how openly they have talked about money with us has taught us so much because they are, man, 18 years ahead of us. And so I think there's so much wisdom in the world from people who have done it before us. So why are we hiding it? Whether that's a mistake or a good thing, why can't we talk about it more openly?
Yeah.
I
I
don't,
would totally agree.
yeah.
I think the only times I can think of people like in my ward or something bringing up money would be like they'd be kind of embarrassed to ask, like, "Can I ask you how much that cost?" Or
Yeah.
I know it's awkward, like, but how much money you guys have? Like, I don't know, like, just asking
Yeah.
anything about
Well,
money feels so uncomfortable.
it does, and it shouldn't. I mean, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel for me because
Mhm.
I could talk about money all day up
Mhm.
and down, left and right, but it does make other people uncomfortable.
Mhm.
I think, and even things like how much did that cost? Well,
Mhm.
that's a big eye opener for me if I'm looking at you and your car that you come to church in every Sunday, and every week I'm like, "Man, I wish I could have that." And then they tell me it was 65 grand and I'm like, "Oh, I don't have that. Never mind."
Yeah.
It's then a reality and knowledge is power.
Mm.
I'm not just gonna sit and hope and want and wish and think maybe I'll have that next week if I just drive down to the dealership. Now I know, okay, this is what it's gonna take
Mhm.
and how can I get there and if I'm ready or if I'm not. I mean, you just learn so many things.
Yeah. Can you talk to maybe the YSA girl who is starting to feel the pressure of maybe some mounting student debt, or she's gotten into some credit card or car debt and she's just starting to get like, whoa, I don't know how to get out of this. What do you think is her first step to get free?
Recognize where you're at. Like, truly sit down and write it all down. Have it out of your brain and onto paper, I think is the best first step because, again, knowledge is power. It can be this looming, heavy, scary, ugly thing that you just want to close the door on and not worry about, and then it's just going to get worse.
Hmm.
If you take it out of your head, put it onto the paper, it has less power over you.
Mm.
And then you can look at it totally logically and say, okay, I've got $36,000. I have 25 here and 11 there. And what's my next step?
Hmm.
I think, again, talking about it or getting it out of your system is the first step.
Cool. So I feel like I hear all the time from Latter-day Saints and not Latter-day Saints that it's too expensive or they don't have enough money yet to start a family, either to get married or to start having kids. They're just waiting for their financial like milestone or to have enough saved up. How would you respond to that?
You should never, ever put off starting your family because you're in debt. I feel that to the strongest degree that our life was not meant to revolve around money. Our spiritual being, our mental well being, or physical really doesn't have that much to do with money. Now, do we have to pay our bills? Yes. Do we have to get food on the table? Absolutely. And I would never say slow your mortal progression based on money. Don't delay having kids. And have enough to buy dinner.
Hmm.
Don't put yourself in a situation that you'll regret, but have faith that if you're making the choices that the Lord's asking you to, if He's asking you to start a family, go ahead and do that. He'll bless you.
Hmm.
Keep paying your tithing. He'll bless you. Make sure that you're teaching your kid these principles. And again, it's not like it'll be easy. I mean, we have 5 kids on a teacher salary. Not easy, but worth it. And I would never say that. And people will say too, if you have a kid, it's going to cost you 60 grand in the first year, or whatever those stats are on the
Hmm.
internet. No, it's chill out. No, it's not. Like maybe your mom will buy you an extra box of diapers. Maybe she won't. Maybe you have no parents that'll help. But I mean, if you absolutely had to get help, there in my town, there's a diaper pantry. There's a food bank. There's WIC. I mean, the amount of people that can get on WIC I think the threshold's insane. Like you could get on WIC and you can get
It really
formula.
is, I think.
So, I mean, if you found yourself in a situation where you couldn't afford it, you could find a resource.
Mm-hmm.
So
What would you say to the young woman who is married, maybe newly married, and is not on the same page with her husband? What is maybe the first step for them
I
to
think
get aligned?
so. If you're saying if they're not on the same financial page,
Yeah,
like
financially.
okay.
Maybe he wants to save up for a house and she wants to get a new car, or they have debt and they're kind of doing it different, like separately, etc.
I think that the best way to start getting on the same page is figure out where your common ground is. Okay, do we both want to buy a house in the next 5 years? Yes. Okay, do we both want to make sure we always have enough for if our car breaks down? Yes. Okay, out of these, again, I think pen and paper is the best tool you could have.
Mm.
I'm gonna write down my goals. Actually, in my sessions, I have the first step. He writes down 3 goals and she writes down 3 goals. And then we come to a middle ground of what are we going to work towards? Because you can't work towards different goals at the same time and have them work out.
Mm-hmm.
And so one person might be totally not bothered by debt and the other person is. That's where you have a really serious conversation and say, hey, this makes it so I can't sleep at night. I mean, that's how it was for me. When we had debt, it was truly like made me ill.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's like be honest and be accountable and also know that that's not going to just sell your spouse overnight either.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we meet in the middle?
Yeah.
And work for a little goal. Even if you're in your mind you're thinking I want 30K in my savings, maybe you guys can agree on 5.
Yeah.
And start there.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like no matter where somebody is financially or in their life, I feel like a lot of young people just have this overwhelming, never-ending sense of financial doom. Like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to buy a house anyway. Everything costs too much. Why do I even try? There's no hope for me. What would you say to someone who's kind of spiraling in that?
I would say I'm sorry and I would give you a hug, honestly, because it's a real feeling. And like you said, a lot of us are feeling that. This isn't the same world that our grandparents grew up in, and there's nothing we can do about it on like a grand scale right now. And so what I would say is don't lose hope. The Lord wants to bless you with something, and you have to have faith that it's going to be beautiful. And it might not be exactly what you thought or as big as you wanted, but if you take the time to recognize it, you will be blessed.
I would agree with that. Bryt, if there were one gift the young woman could give their future selves, what do you wish it would be?
Confidence. I think confidence in God, confidence in your divine identity, confidence in all of those eternal and spiritual gifts that outweigh any physical thing that will come, any temporal thing that will come.
I think that's beautiful. Okay, I have one advice question to ask you
Okay.
before we close. This is from Latter-day Saint Reddit.
Okay.
Username Bad Taxidermy 115.
Okay.
They titled this question, Struggling Not to Resent Tithing. Quote, it's like the money is never there. Both my husband and I work. We have 3 young sons and everything costs money. We're trying so hard to save money and pay off debt. We spend maybe $400 a month on groceries. That's not a lot of money on groceries. Maybe they're all like 2, I don't know. And we have to get super creative about meals to make every dollar stretch. We want to travel with our kids and we're going overseas next year. I'll be working while we're abroad because everything costs money. We don't live extravagantly and everything we own is secondhand. My point is we always pay out tithing, 10% of every paycheck, and it still feels like we're always struggling. Where are these promised blessings? We're doing everything, keeping the commandments, attending the temple, caring for our family, and yet it never feels any easier. I'm ready to sacrifice my temple recommend renewal just to have extra money to stash aside. My husband and I are huge savers, but he has a testimony of tithing and mine is eroding big time. Have any of you really seen blessings from tithing?
I think a lot of the blessings that you come, like I said earlier, come with your perspective. If you're looking for the blessings, you will see them. I do not discount how hard it is to raise a family. I think that you're already doing incredible to this lady. You're doing incredible. $400 grocery budget. Good for you.
Yeah.
Mine's double that. And how many kids does she have?
4, 3? I don't know. I think it was 3.
Okay. Yeah. Mine's double that on a good month. Okay. So you're killing it. I feel like in the same sentence I heard, we're taking my family overseas and we don't have any blessings. I would consider that a blessing. I would consider that maybe it wasn't easy to afford. Clearly you afforded it somehow. So enjoy that. Have that perspective of gratitude and don't give up. I would hate for you to lose your testimony of tithing as a whole and have it and stop paying it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so valuable that your husband has a testimony, and I think what a blessing. This is the blessing of marriage, is you can lean on them when you're not feeling your best. And my husband and I talk about this all the time. As long as one of us isn't wavering at the same time as the other, it's okay to have questions. It's okay to be unsure, and it's okay to question your testimony. As long as I can rely on you and you can be my strong person for this time, I know that I will come out of it the other end.
Mm-hmm. It sounds a little bit like they're kind of hoping that tithing will be the solution to finding more money.
Yes.
And I think there are blessings from tithing, but paying tithing while you continue to work. I have no idea if this is this person, but just for example, if someone were working at Chick-fil-A and trying to support their family of 3, just like making the sandwiches, not even as in a managerial position or anything, just part-time, whatever, and they're paying tithing, like, where are the blessings? I can't afford anything. Like, well, maybe there's also some changes that you can make at the same time, and it might be time to get some professional help, someone like Bryt to come
call me,
check out the situation.
Call me taxidermy so-and-so.
Yeah, get an outside view at it, look for a different job. There might be.
I think it is important to remember, again, the agency that we have, because I can complain all day long, and sometimes I complain all day long that we live on a teacher's salary. And it's a choice that we make every day. And living on a teacher's salary and actively paying tithing and generous fast offerings does not give us more money. Yet, we've made it. Yeah. I mean, we're still here today. We're going to Disneyland in 9 days.
Wow.
So, I mean, like,
that is a lot of money. You must be really rich. You're doing a rich thing, so you must be swimming in money.
But I don't know. I think you're right. I think that is a valid point, is paying tithing doesn't just automatically give you more money, but it does give you blessings.
Yeah.
And so recognize those when they come. Pray for the eyes to see them. Because it's easy to say, like, oh, I guess that's a blessing. I don't know. If you pray and say, like, what are my blessings from this? Heavenly Father will give you that. He wants you to know what his blessings are.
I like that a lot. I would second that. I think we did it. We answered the question. We figured it out.
There you go. I hope she watches this.
What, bad taxidermy? You're welcome. I hope they see it. I don't know. We'll find out. Let me know in the comments if this is you. Okay, Bryt, tell people what you do, where people can find you.
Okay, so I'm a financial coach. I am spiritually based, and I'm Ramsey certified, so I follow all of the Dave Ramsey steps. You can find me on Instagram at BetterwithBryt, BRYT, and I'd love to chat. So there's like, all my videos are kind of based financially, family oriented, and then I also have like a course that you can take, and then I have paid like one-on-one coaching. So there's all sorts of things. Check me out.
Very cool. Yeah. Yay. Well, I'm so glad that you could come. I'm glad that this worked out, and I hope this is helpful for someone out there today.
I think it will be. I hope so.
I think so too. All right.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. My friends, I think that money issues is something that most of us have dealt with or are going to deal with at some point. So I hope that you've got this one on replay. You're ready to tap into Bryt's Instagram, learn more about how you can be managing your money in a faithful way to honor God's stewardship that he's given you of the finances that you have. I wanted to share a little bit from Elder and Sister Holland from, a BYU devotional that they did together. So Sister Holland said this: controlling your financial circumstances is another one of those marriage skills, and we put that in quotations, that obviously matters to everyone and matters long before entering into marriage. It matters while you're here at the university. This is a BYU, like I said. And you should learn to use a budget right now, today, this moment. One of the great laws of heaven and earth is that your expenses need to be less than your income. Interesting. I don't think we talked about it like that. She continues, you can reduce your anxiety and your pain and your early marital discord. Indeed, you can reduce your parents' anxiety and pain and marital discord right now if you will learn to manage a budget. Elder Holland said, as part of this general financial caution, we encourage, if necessary, plastic surgery for both husband and wife. This is a very painless operation. And it may give you more self-esteem than a new nose job or a tummy tuck. Just cut up your credit cards. Unless you're prepared to use those cards under the strictest of conditions and restraints, you should not use them at all. No convenience known to modern man has so jeopardized the financial stability of a family, especially young, struggling families, like the ubiquitous credit card. Like they said, I know that this is something that you don't put it off until you're married. It's not just magically going to work out. This is the time now, whether you're in high school or in college or you're married. This is the time now to start to practice to manage your money well. It can be a way that you honor God and you can enable yourself to serve Him. I've talked about this a lot, that when you have the financial ability to love and serve your neighbor, you have a little bit of spare money to invite someone over for dinner, to help them out when they're in need. It sets you up in a way that you can serve God and you can follow the promptings more easily that He sends you your way. And He will trust you with more finances and more ways to serve. I've seen that in our lives as we are just regular people, me and my husband, making a pretty regular income in a cheaper place than Utah, thankfully. But it's been a real blessing to be able to bless other people, to be there for my family, that I get to stay home and my husband gets to go to work as we manage our finances well, stay out of debt. It's been a real blessing to me, and I know it will be a blessing to you too. And that's all for today. It's been a real pleasure to chat with you. Now it's time to go and do. I know that you've got this because God has got you. This has been SpackChats, your practical guide to survive and thrive through the latter days. Here we find answers to your real life questions by applying the gospel of Jesus Christ to build an amazing life with no regrets. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. And if you want to support the show, one of the easiest free ways to do that is to leave a 5-star review and share why you love the show. I'm Jessica Spackman. Until next time on SpackChats. Coming up on the next episode. When you're having a baby, there are a lot of big decisions to make. Where your baby's going to sleep, what color to paint the nursery, all the things to put on a baby registry. But what about your birth choices? Do you want visitors to come in right after you have a baby, and for how long? It just makes things way easier if you've actually thought about it ahead of time.